Hey folks, Quill18 here, and welcome to what will probably be a relatively short video about my Stellaris races. I've been playing a lot of Stellaris lately since 2.0 and Apocalypse came out, and so obviously with every new game I make a race, but also I like to make a few extras just to populate the galaxy with non-random races to give things a little bit more flavor. And I'm always looking online for ideas about races to make in Stellaris, so I thought, hey, I'll make a little video to do that. These races aren't necessarily like insanely strong or anything. They're not necessarily meant to be like OP and breaking some sort of like crazy mechanic, as much as possible as just to sort of try to tell a story and be kind of interesting or focus on something in particular. The first few we're going to start with are actually older races from previous to 2.0 that haven't necessarily been updated since then, but you know, they're still fine. We got the Quillian bureaucracy over here. The idea with these guys was to try to pile on as many core sectors as possible. So the pacifist gives you +4, the bureaucracy gives you +2 as well. There might be other ways to do that in 2.0 as well, but anyway, those things there. So that's an extra +6 just from those traits. And that's before any extra technologies or tradition that you can do. We've also got the mechanist for some free robots and lower upkeep, and the materialist for the same sort of thing, so that you can get robots, because robots are cool. Speaking of robots, we got the Quillbot pacifists. We played this when Synthetic Dawn came out. So they're determined exterminators. They just want to kill all life everywhere. They look really cool. They've got the extra research options and leader level cap. More XP gain, a higher level cap, that's fine. I mean, there's not, you know, there's not a whole heck of a lot of story going on here other than they're trying to kill all life. So if you run into the Quillbot pacifists in the galaxy, they will try to pacify you and all other organic life. And the best way they know how to pacify everything is to just kill it. I need to like write some backstory for these guys, but the idea is basically they were designed to like try to keep the peace, and they realized the best way to keep the peace is to just destroy all organics, and there's no more wars. The Sacred Order of Kudo over here, I think we did on a live stream, inspired by some story elements that happened with Dwarf Fortress. So we got this cat group over here. Syncretic evolution. I think the idea here is that the pops that were here, the subservient pops, were actually the dwarves. We could probably take a look at that. I'm pretty sure that's the case. If we take a look. Yeah, they are dwarves. The appearance isn't quite right. I don't know if they had the dwarven portrait at the time. Let me go ahead and make a little change to these guys and override that. But yeah, that was the idea, is that we have some dwarves as a secondary race over here. Communal slow learners. I wonder if they could be... Well, they get strength built in, that's right, and servile. So they're really good at mining and farming and stuff like that. They farm their plump helmet mushrooms. Meanwhile, the kitty cats run things, and they like to have their slaves. Having my cats be decadent is a theme that has come up often in Stellaris because, you know, they need people to give them, you know, belly rubs and to change their kitty litter. I got the Serene Quilzard Concordate over here. I think this is actually going to be very similar to what I did with the Galactic Cutlers. Apparently, I like the idea a few different times. So, Xenophile, Pacifist, Free Haven, they really want a lot of immigrants to come in. They're charismatic and communal. Basically, they're just friendly and happy and want to be friends with people and want to invite as many foreign aliens to come and visit their territory. Look at this, +5 happiness. Like, they're going to be so happy all the time. And hopefully everyone who comes and lives with it here will also be happy. We got the Tree Hive over here. We got the One Mind. Tree Hive, so they get the unity, they get more monthly influence, they're just a consciousness. They grow a lot of food, and I don't think I ever played as these guys. It was just the idea of having them exist. I know it says fungoid, but to me this is like looks very, very tree-like, and their planets over here. So yeah, just a plant-based hive. We've got the Serene Cat Empire over here, which is the one I'm playing in a current Let's Play. That was the idea to play with the Barbaric Despoilers, which I have to say, as playing this as a player, I started feeling a little bit limited with the Barbaric Despoilers trait. The fact that you can't get rid of it or change things is a little bit wonky. I don't really need the CB for this, but I think as an AI race that's going to exist out there, it's going to be a lot of fun. So what they're doing is they are decadent. They want some slaves to, you know, work for them against the cat thing. They need someone to give them belly rubs and to clean their litter box. So they're going to go and try to steal as many of them as possible by being Barbaric Despoilers. They're authoritarian. They actually start with a lot of influence from doing this. Traditional gives them unity as well. And then they've got the better combat stuff over here, which is pretty good. Hand of Armok over here, inspired by Dwarf Fortress Dwarves. They are spiritualist militarists over here. They're quite good at mining. They have a lot of minerals between this and industrious, tons of minerals. Thrifty also means they have tons of money. They're actually like really potent race, as it turns out, because they can expand out very quickly into space because they end up having just all the material to be able to support building lots and lots of space stuff pretty quickly. Enduring seems to fit with the dwarves, so they live longer. It's also quite nice because you get your level 5 leader and they live longer rather than dying like shortly after getting to level 5. Quarrelsome is a really bad trait, but it makes sense for the dwarves, so I took it. And non-adaptive, because I don't know, they're kind of on the stubborn side, and that seemed okay too. Sure, why not? And there's mostly comes down to there's enough text to counteract the habitability problem, as well as the ability to do terraforming and stuff, which seems like a fairly dwarvy thing. So we got the Zerg Swarm over here, which I haven't played. I just did it to add like something interesting. It's a devouring swarm out there. They don't do diplomacy. They just try to kill and eat everything. They've got very strong armies. So that when they land on a planet, their Zerglings can go and kill everything. They're rapid breeders. They're very adaptive. So they'll grow to max population very quickly and be able to inhabit a lot of planets very quickly. Repugnant, and they're fleeting. Their leaders don't last that long because that's not really what they work on. They're also strong, so they get even more army damage. If they land on a planet, they will conquer it. I don't know if they're going to be good at space stuff, but that's okay. We have the robot fanboys over here. That's all they want. They love robots so much. They don't like other people. They're kind of shy. You know, other people scare them. They don't like that. But they've got the mechanist trait. They've got the fanatic materialist trait. They're natural engineers, which makes sense. They're also fairly intelligent, and they're quick learners. But you know, they don't do very well with the opposite sex too much. They're also weak, but that's okay. They got the robots to do that for them. And meritocracy makes a lot of sense, I think, with like a sort of nerd type culture, right? Something like that. So, but we can have some more leaders here, which is actually going to be kind of handy. And yeah, so the Galactic Cutlers, which are very similar to the Serene Quilzard Concordat. Free haven, so lots of migrants. They love other people. They're egalitarian. They're going to get more influence from factions. They are conformists, so more of their people will be of the same type of ethics as the government, which will make it easier to have most people in your empire follow the same ethics, which means that they'll be, you know, mostly just one strong faction, and you can get more influence from that, and they'll match your thing. So, you know, hopefully everything will be together. It'll probably be a faction of like xenophiles, for example, or egalitarians, at which point, you know, as long as we've got, you know, migration agreements and no slavery and things, everyone will be very happy. The Cutlers themselves don't move around too much, but that's okay, because we're going to have other people come in from something else. We got the Risen Covenant over here, which I believe was built to get as much unity as possible. Because we've got Fanatic Spiritualist with the 20% monthly unity. Beacon of Liberty is 15% more liberty. We've got the Syncretic Evolution for the Subservient Race. I don't remember what the idea was there. I'm sure there was an idea. These guys are weak, but they've got, you know, the Syncretic Evolution. They live long. And they're really good at society. Oh, right. The idea with this is to try to get them to be psychic. This was the idea with this, is because when you're spiritualists and stuff, you can get like the psychic texts and things, and then all the unity would let us get the ascendancy things. The idea with these guys is to become psychic. And they spend all their time thinking with their big brain, and they got the Syncretic Evolution people, who are what? I don't remember who they were. They are... Oh, the Shrooms! Yes! Yes. They're a big fan of the shroom people over here. So those are the people who are going to be doing that. They're non-adapted, so they don't like to spread to the other planets. But that's okay. Then, possibly my favorite one so far is the Sentient Waffle Irons. In an effort to create... I made a story for them. In an effort to create the perfect waffle iron, Belgians accidentally created a sentient waffle iron with an AI design... Actually, this should have said the perfect waffle. Let me rename this. In an effort to create the perfect waffle... Belgians accidentally created a sentient waffle iron with an AI designed to do nothing but feed delicious fluffy pastries to organics. So I'm just going to save those changes here. Thank you very much. Go back. And so we've got rogue servitors, right? So they've got their biotrophies. They've got organics, and the organics in this case are just humans. They're Belgians. And yeah, that's it. They're slow learners and fleeting. They're not going to be leaders anyway. They got communal extra happiness. So the Belgians are going to be really happy. They're going to be stuffed full of waffles all the time. While the rogue servitors, the sentient waffle islands, try to spread through space to find other species that they can feed waffles to. Rapid reproduction, so they get built faster. They are more expensive to build, but they build faster. This is okay. So there's extra mineral cost for this, but I don't think it's that bad, and it gets offset pretty well by the power drills. And once a planet is full, the luxurious doesn't really hurt you quite as much. Superconductive for more energy, efficient processors for lowered upkeep. So, you know, you don't have to have as much upkeep from these guys. Robots are a little harder to manage. You know, they need a lot more fiddly bits, but they're a lot of fun to play as. So we got the Sentient Waffle Irons, and then we got the Oneers. The Oneers over here. They are life-seeded, so they have their Gaia homeworld starting pick, but they have no ability really to ever settle any planets other than a Gaian homeworld. That's also why I took non-adaptive over here. Now, technically, this would give us 10% penalty to have ability on a Gaian world that's not our own homeworld. But how often do you find Gaia planets? And in fact, because we are spiritualists, we can run the Hallowed World Edict, which means if we find a Gaia world, we can just declare it to be holy. So if it's an unsettled Gaia world, we can declare it to be a holy world and not actually settle there. Which is an interesting take. And I did do a little bit of playing around basically with these guys, and I ran into the Fallen Empire that likes to like preserve Gaia planets. So they don't want you to settle it. You can go and take a Gaia planet into your border. They're fine with that. They just don't want you to settle it. And it was like perfect. I'm like, no, I agree. This is a holy world. No one should set foot on this. Absolutely. And so we got along really, really well. Alternatively, if you do find a really big, good holy world, or sorry, Gaian world that's not considered holy by a fallen empire, you can go ahead and settle it. Minus 10%, who cares? So sedentary, they're not going to move around much, which seems fine. Intelligent, enduring, industrious. There you go. They're a lot of fun to play. You can see I take the spiritualists a lot. I actually really like spiritualists. They have a really fun flavor and events and things. They get more unity, and their temples and things like that give you even more unity, and then they get even more. The temples make sure to have a really strong ethics attraction towards spiritualists. Plus, your capital itself has like really strong attraction towards your base ethics here. So again, you're not really going to have much in the way of faction problems. You're going to have a lot of influence, so you can still spread. I was able to like spread my star bases. Like I had a giant empire with only one planet, but a giant empire. Keep in mind that costs for things go up with number of systems you control now instead of population. So you might still want to be a little bit picky and a little bit limited in exactly how you expand if you play as the Oneers. But mostly, now I've got all these species. They exist in my galaxies now when I start a game. I mean, you can force them on. If you don't know this, you can click. So this would force the species to appear in a new game. You click again. This will prevent the species from appearing in your new game. Or you can just leave it on here, which means there's a chance over here. And there's always these guys that are always in the list of possibilities, and you can't really change that, and that's okay. And then there's the randomly generated ones as well. So that's the video. That's my species. If you've got great ideas for species, leave them in the comments. That includes species that are A, fun to play. That's one category, and B is species that are really strong to play. And sometimes they're the same, and sometimes there's not. So some of these species are not necessarily optimal, but they have a definite idea. They have a definite plan. This is how we want to succeed, and we can sort of build around that. And I think as long as they got a lot of flavor and personality, it's gonna go. I like the fact that these guys just have the one eye, right? Because that makes a lot of sense. I named these planets something too. What was it? Right, their homeworld's just called the One, and their star. They just call their star the Sun, which I think is fantastic and kind of egocentric, and I like it. Thanks for watching, folks. See you next time.